Welcome to our channel, Bravo News. Stephen McBee Jr. opens up about the pressure to save the McBee dynasty. A legacy in the balance. The Missouri morning air carried with it the sharp scent of earth and diesel fuel, a reminder of the dynasty that Stephen McBee Sr. had built from the ground up. But where others smelled prosperity, Stephen McBee Jr. felt the suffocating weight of responsibility. The McBee man wasn't just a name anymore. It was a brand, a business, and most frighteningly of all, a dynasty that reality television cameras had immortalized. To the world, the McBee dynasty was entertainment. But to Stephen Jr., it was the only life he knew. And now, with scandal, financial troubles, and internal fractures gnawing away at its core, he was left holding the torch with hands that felt too unsteady to keep it from burning out. "I don't think people understand," Stephen Jr. admitted in a quiet confessional during filming, his blue eyes clouded with exhaustion. "This isn't just about running cattle or keeping the business alive. This is about keeping my family together, about keeping our legacy intact, and I don't know if I'm strong enough to do it." The weight of those words wasn't lost on the producers, who knew drama when they heard it. But for Stephen Jr., it wasn't a soundbite. It was his reality. The shadow of his father. Growing up, Stephen Jr. had idolized his father. Stephen McBee Sr. was larger than life, the kind of man who could command a room with a single look and negotiate million-dollar land deals with ease. On the ranch, his voice was law. In the community, his reputation was both feared and admired. But now the cracks were undeniable. Legal troubles, whispers of investigations, and financial strain had tarnished the empire. The once unshakable patriarch was distracted, embattled, and perhaps, if the rumors were true, losing his grip. "I love my dad," Stephen Jr. said one evening, sitting across from his brothers, Jesse and Cole, at the Warren Oak dining table. "But he's not invincible. And the dynasty, it doesn't run on myth. It runs on numbers, on decisions, on sacrifices. And right now, we're running out of all three." His brothers exchanged glances. Jesse, the more outspoken one, slammed his hand on the table. "So what? You're just gonna carry it all on your back? You think you can fix this alone?" Stephen Jr. didn't answer right away, because deep down, that's exactly what he thought. The cameras don't blink. Reality television had a cruel way of amplifying everything. Every argument, every doubt, every late-night phone call from the bank or tense family meeting became not just a private struggle, but public fodder. Fans online speculated endlessly. Was Stephen Jr. really ready to take over? Could he lead the McBee empire into a new era, or would the pressure crack him open for the world to watch? The cameras followed him to the ranch fields at sunrise, capturing the sweat on his brow as he wrangled cattle with a stubborn determination. They filmed his moments of silence, too. Sitting alone in his truck, staring out at acres of land that weren't just property, but inheritance, history, and responsibility. And when they filmed him breaking down in private, whispering into the darkness of his bedroom that he didn't know if he could keep the family together, America would see it. But what America wouldn't see was how close he was to unraveling. Galina's warning. Galina Salkovska, the enigmatic presence who had become both muse and menace in the McBee saga, wasn't one to mince words. She pulled Stephen Jr. aside after a particularly tense family dinner. "You're killing yourself trying to save everyone," she said, her accent sharp yet soft, cutting through his defenses. "But what happens when saving them destroys you? Who saves you, Stephen?" Her words haunted him. He replayed them at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if the dynasty was worth the pieces of himself he was losing. The community whispers. In town, whispers circulated like wildfire. Some said Stephen Jr. was too young, too inexperienced. Others believed he was the only one capable of dragging the McBee name out of the mud. At the local diner, old ranch hands sipped coffee and speculated. "Kid's got heart. one said. Heart don't save a business, another replied. Every word made its way back to Stephen Jr., whether through social media or passing comments. The pressure wasn't just from within his family, it came from the whole community, the whole country watching through Bravo's lens. The turning point. It wasn't until one cold evening, standing alone in the barn with only the horses for company, that Stephen Jr. broke. He leaned against a post, tears streaking his face, his body trembling from exhaustion. I can't do this, he whispered. I can't be the one to fix everything. But then he remembered something his grandfather had told him. A dynasty isn't built on one man's shoulders. It's built on the willingness of many to fight for the same dream. For the first time, Stephen Jr. realized he didn't have to carry it all alone. But convincing his family to unite again, after so much betrayal, pride, and bitterness, would be the hardest battle yet. The family meeting. The cameras were rolling when Stephen Jr. called the meeting. His voice was steady, but his heart pounded in his chest. We can't keep pretending everything's fine, he said, looking around at his brothers, his father, even Galena and the others orbiting their chaotic empire. We're falling apart, and if we don't come together now, there won't be a dynasty left to save. The room erupted. Accusations, raised voices, old wounds reopened, but Stephen Jr. didn't back down. For once, he stood his ground not as the uncertain son, but as the man stepping into leadership. I'm not asking for perfection, he said finally, his voice breaking with raw emotion. I'm asking for unity, for us to stop tearing each other apart long enough to remember what we're fighting for. The silence that followed was the kind that could destroy a family or save it. The road ahead. Saving the McBee dynasty wasn't going to be a single moment of triumph. It would be a long, grueling road filled with more setbacks than victories. But for the first time, Stephen Jr. wasn't carrying the burden alone. His father, humbled by his own missteps, began to step back. Not entirely, but enough to let his son step forward. His brothers, after countless fights, started to recognize that their survival depended on collaboration, not competition. And Stephen Jr., he began to see himself not just as the boy trying to live up to a legend, but as the man capable of creating a new one. The cameras would keep rolling, the world would keep watching, and the dynasty would keep teetering between survival and collapse. But now, there was hope. And in the end, that was enough to keep Stephen McBee Jr. fighting. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates.